Ryder, Roger. Ouch. Ow. Did you just do a run without your chip?
I just did 2 runs without my chip.
Oh my God.
What's going on, buds? We just got back from Ride Canuga for Cranksgiving. We surprised ourselves in the race. It was a really good weekend, and we're gonna go through our race runs with you guys.
So first lap, we decided to drop down Hemlock.
Hemlock is a super fast and flowy trail. There's not a whole lot of tech.
Not techy, and it's pretty easy to read. There's nothing hard. It flows pretty well, and there's not a lot of pedaling.
It's considered a black trail, but I would say it's more of a blue-black. I'd say it's a blue, but if you pull the doubles on it, then it's
Blue
a
with
black.
black features.
Yeah, so it was a fast trail, gets you up to speed, doesn't absolutely destroy your legs, and it's one of my favorite trails there, so it was a lot of fun. Chase dropped in first.
Tactical.
Clean run. Other than being my first run of the day, everything was pretty clean, other than a couple little like braking too long before corners or in corners. For the most part, it was completely a clean run. No dabs, no crashes. So I was happy with it. Blake had a little bit of some drama.
I had a little bit of a different story, thanks to Roger. So Chase dropped in, and then our buddy Roger dropped after Chase. I gave Roger a solid 30 seconds. Roger's a fast guy, really good rider, but sometimes things happen to all of us. And after the like roller section with the doubles, I saw Roger up there. It was really weird because normally I wouldn't catch Roger on something like that, giving him a 30-second gap. So I called out Ryder, and he wasn't really moving out of the way, which is also kind of weird.
Ryder, Roger. Roger.
I didn't know what was going on, and then I heard him yell like he had no rear brake. Come to find out, end of the run, his brake lever snapped. Luckily, the spot that I was able to weasel myself by him, I don't feel like it lost me any time. I barely got by, he barely got out of the way.
Roger. You're good. Damn.
Things happen. Other than that, my run felt good.
Oh, Roger almost fucked me bad.
Not bad.
That sucked. My brake broke off going in. I went to grab it and think right after the first burn.
I was wondering what was going on.
I was trying to figure out what to do.
You bashed it on something.
You rode that whole trail with no brake?
Yes.
And we had a nice pedal back to the top. We got to the top, and I think we decided for GNCC, which is probably one of my favorite trails
Yes.
at Canoga. It's a not technical, but more
It's just
natural.
Fast-paced, flowy, natural tech.
Got some like not berms, but like the classic undercut corners like that you get in Pisgah that are almost better than berms,
Yep.
with like some natural corners and then some techie stuff towards the bottom.
So Chase dropped in to GNCC first again.
Oh, that brought it in good. There.
And had a clean run. Everything was pretty good. That's one of my favorite trails with the good undercut classic Pisgah berms that are pretty much better than berms. And once again, had a very clean run that I was happy with. And
Yep.
Blake did too.
Yep, I dropped into that one feeling pretty good, nice and warm after stage one. The only thing I can say is like towards the bottom, I was getting real close with my shoulders to the trees. I was trying hard to get around the trees and the tight little corners, and I was almost rubbing them, but we made it out good. And throughout the bottom section, it's like a flat pedal sprint.
Through roots.
Yep, through roots, felt good. I was clipped in. Chase was on flats. I was able to pedal through all that chunk pretty strong.
We both survived the awkward, weird shimmy in the middle of that trail too.
Yeah, the like down and up
Down
left.
and up around
Yeah,
that tree, which
from
crashed
then-
on the first trail, the first time we rode that.
Yeah, there's like a weird down, left, up. And then for like the next 100 yards after that, there's like more like flowing stuff, like dodging trees and stuff. And it's a really fun section. I love that trail.
Yeah, it was really fun.
You just do natural selection?
It was good. That
We just
one,
did
the
GNCC.
wicked tight berm is super washed.
Wicked
like-
tight one.
You know the chicken line that I fucking...
No.
You know the spooky one? On natural?
Oh,
The-
with the rock
Yeah.
The slab?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that
Blown out. Dude, that one's just full of powder. It's awesome. Dude, GNCC was ripping today.
Oh yeah, dude, it was so good.
It's so fun.
So good.
Lever off.
Who did?
Roger, the guy.
The older guy.
No way.
Mid-range
Yeah.
just gone.
You know the
Bent it before.
I dropped like 30 seconds behind him. You have the roller double section,
Yep.
and you keep flying through all the berms, and then it ends with the really hard left to right.
Yeah.
I passed him on the inside of that last right. I was yelling and I didn't know it was wrong,
Lever broke off.
and I just had to sneak by, and I was like, oh my God.
On the inside.
On the inside.
Stage 3, we felt like we were warm enough to drop into, it's actually classified as a double black. Used to be painted double black, now it's officially named Natural Selection. One of my favorite trails there, probably maybe my favorite trail there. It starts out pretty like nice and easy. And then you have like the waterfall rock section, which I think we took 2 different lines in. I took the high left line above like a little tiny rock drop. It's only like a foot drop. After that, I wasn't really worried about anything. That top section's not really that techy, but it's definitely the most intimidating. And then after that, I had a pretty good rest of my run down that trail. I think this was a stage though that at the bottom I didn't know the finish line was that far in the flats. So like I knew I hadn't seen the finish yet, but I wasn't sure if I had passed it or not. So I was like kind of pedaling, and then I looked up and saw the finish and then got on the gas a little harder. Other than that, it was a good run.
Mine was pretty good too. I was not happy with a couple things and happy with other things. Right at the beginning, right before you come over like a rock, chunky roll through trees, there's like a high and a low line. I got the high line, which at the time feels way slower, but it straightens up that whole section.
Let's go.
Coming into the waterfall section, I think I went slower than what I should have and could have. It kind of sketched me out because I came in a little on Ryder's right to the waterfall section, and there was kind of like a cliff on the right side. So came in slow through that, took the low line all the way through where Blake went up higher. Hit the slab rock fine, and then from there, I mean, the trail was smooth and it flows nice, and I hit it all pretty clean. And I think we took a different line after crossing the road as well.
Yeah,
You
there
did
was
like a little shimmy, and I went up over.
yeah, I did the little shimmy.
And then
Just
Lucas Shaw did the freaking
yeah,
the goat line,
we
which I didn't know about.
thought that the rock roll
Was
was
off
closed,
limits?
but
You
old
just
boy
had-
just bunny hopped up onto it,
Just had to
and
be a goat. To do
yeah,
that.
just really made us all feel bad. So after stage 3, we were halfway done with the race. We decided to go get a quick bite to eat, take a little break, give the legs a break because there was plenty of time to get the race done. So after lunch, we went up and we were a little cold, so we didn't want to drop into a black trail. So we dropped into Roto Ruckus, which is a big, like long, flowy, pumpy trail, but it had a really nice, fresh ending to it.
You got to give some backstory about when we were starting Roto Ruckus at the top. We used zone 4 timing at this race, and that has live timing. So Blake got on his phone and started looking at how we were doing. Come to find out, Blake was getting me by
About a second.
a second or under on like all the first 3 stages.
I was beating Chase on every stage.
He was beating me, and
Up
he
to this
told me.
point.
He told me this. So
I didn't plan on telling you. Shout out to Mr. Mahiron if you're watching. He asked how I was doing, so I couldn't lie to him.
So once I found out that information, I kind of flipped the competitive switch on. Can't let younger brother win.
Well, also, we had already done all the fast flowy stages, and all that was
Didn't have
left,
pedals.
all that was left was the ones that had like some punchy pedals in it, which I'm not surprised by the outcome.
I think I dropped in first again to Roto Ruckus.
Behind a little kid
Behind, well, I gave the little kid a pretty good gap because he asked for one.
You on time?
Yeah, give me a lot of time.
All right.
Berms are not my thing.
I'll try and
If you,
give you time, but no promises someone else doesn't drop behind you.
yeah, and if you're behind me, I'll get out of the way.
All right.
Could have done the little cutoffs off the trail better. We didn't really practice those a whole lot. Got kind of awkward on both of those. Other than that, had a weird like come out of a berm and take a hard right off like on a fresh cut section that I dabbed the foot. I think Blake did as well.
I almost crashed.
It's almost like a pump track from then on,
Yeah.
all the way down to
Can't really
the-
pedal much.
The newer fresh cut, which is where I caught the little kid, which is a perfect spot, like right off the main trail, cut down.
Heads up, bud.
We got to the terrible part where it was like an uphill section at the end of a pump track stage.
Like a
where you were
40-yard
hammered.
sprint.
Made it through that trail, tired but pretty clean.
Like Chase said, where he dabbed a foot, I also dabbed a foot, but I was closer to crashing than Chase probably was. So it ended up just being a dab, but I was pretty close to going down. Real loose corner, but we stayed upright, and then rest of the trail just pumped away, pedaled where I could. Where normally you dump into Tortuga or First in Flight, and I came up on that corner way faster than I thought.
Did you
And-
have the guy there behind the tape waving? at
Yeah,
you?
he was yelling and waving. If he wasn't there, I would have gone straight through the tape because, I mean, we practiced it, but I didn't really remember it that well. So I came up a little hot into that like 180-degree corner. got to that little punchy climb, gave it all I could the rest of the trail. I mean, it was a pretty good run for me, but just wasn't enough to take the dub on Chase again. Chase
Got him
pulled,
by 8
he
seconds.
pulled me by like 8 seconds on that one, so
Competitive switch on.
that fired me up a little bit. I wasn't too happy about that. After that, we went up to do the last black stage of
Paint
the
it
race.
black.
Paint it black.
All right. Keep her on 2 wheels.
This one was the most intimidating for me. A lot of people thought this was more technical than natural selection, or wasn't as technical as natural selection, but I thought it was more technical.
I was more worried about natural selection than I was
wasn't.
Paint It Black.
I mean, the beginning of it, I wasn't worried about. But there was like the real tight spot through the trees where we ended up taking the high line that wasn't as bad as it looks. That wasn't what I was worried about. Made it through the whole top section just fine, and the bottom section was the part that I was worried about just because I didn't remember it. Lots of roots going straight down the trail, like diagonal from the trail, just roots everywhere that didn't really remember, so I was just kind of riding blind a little bit. But I actually had a pretty clean run through everything, so I was happy with that.
I like Paint It Black a lot. It's one of the trails that I felt like I flowed really well down, like especially the lower half, really good. I got to follow our buddy Ethan Flanagan down this trail, which helped a lot to follow someone that was way faster than us. Right at the beginning, pretty easy, hit a rock drop, and then we went across a off-camber fast section that we only hit once that I wish we would have done one more time because I think we could have went way faster through it. Got that. Got through the awkward section that Blake was talking about. Fine. Got basically through everything fine. And then once we crossed the climbing road, that's when it just felt pretty good and I felt really smooth and just flowed through the chunky roots. good on that stage. I really liked it.
Yeah. So at this point, we were 5 stages in. All we had left was a green stage. So green stage, not too worried about it. So I was personally super stoked because this was my very first race that I've ever made it, enduro race that I've ever made it through, just completely clean. No crashes, no major screw ups. So I was super stoked, even though like I wasn't beating Chase, I wasn't like top 10. I was just super stoked to have clean runs. I was having fun on the bike, and all we had left was the green stage. And what was our theory on saving that for last? A lot of people did this one first.
Our theory was it was going to blow up our legs, whatever.
No matter what.
No matter what. Like they were going to be blown
It's like
up.
a 3-minute sprint.
But we wanted to save our legs for all the other stages because those were really fun and we actually liked those. I locked out my rear shock and turned my compression all the way up on my fork. So everything was very stiff.
I forgot to.
And I could actually like use the bike to pump more and it wouldn't really absorb as much as I would want it to on a more technical fast stage.
But we also we saved that one for last also because so many people were doing it first that by the middle of the day, there were so many people on that stage at one time.
We would have caught people.
It was highly likely we would have caught people, and we didn't want to run into that situation.
So we saved it for last, and we were like the only 2 people dropping in on it at the time, and it sucked.
I
It was
mean,
by
yeah.
far my least favorite one. That was clean and smooth, but
It's just a 3-minute sprint,
it's a 3-minute pump track sprint,
hard as you can go.
and it's hard. And I mean, even if we were fitter, which we would like to be next year, it's still going to hurt just as bad because it's like anything else. The fitter you get, the faster you go, but it still freaking hurts.
Yeah. So,
And there was no way around that. That one just sucked.
yep. I mean, we both made it through just fine. It sucked, but we were done with the race after that. We both had clean days on the bikes and ended up top 20 in my first pro race. Was Chase's like second one other than the Tennessee National, which was, I mean, it was a bad race, but yeah, we kind of surprised ourselves. We were top 20 within 30 seconds from a lot of fast local guys and the top 10. So
What'd the top 20 look like? 95% North Carolina.
yeah, which isn't an excuse, but being a local there definitely helps.
But we were very happy that we are to the point where we are starting to be able to compete with some of these dudes that we've known for a while, but have always been so like out of reach faster than us. And now we're finally getting to the point where they're starting to become in reach. And I can hold their wheel if I'm behind them, but yet they still beat me in races, but we're getting there.
Yep. Didn't expect to have that good of an outcome. I said in the previous video during the pre-ride that I would be stoked to be top 20. So I made that happen, and I was stoked to 19th 16th.
Very
May not look great on paper, but
You look at the guys above us, and then it looks a lot better.
yeah, and being that close to them, pretty stoked. So within 30 seconds to top 10, that's like 5 seconds per stage, which is something that's can definitely be attained by next year.
More fitness.
Yep. So overall, Cranksgiving year 2 was a good time. It was actually my first year racing it because last year I was like 7 weeks post-surgery on my shoulder. So I was happy to be able to race it this year instead of watching. Both had clean races. Can't really ask for much more than that. The weather was great. Yeah, turnout was great. Looking forward to
I'm ready for the
2022.
next race. I'm excited.
Tennessee National, let's go.